Many of us live with a constant, low-level hum of anxiety. It is the persistent fear of making a mistake, of choosing the wrong path, paired with a secret, quiet wish that some external authority figure would take the wheel and handle the consequences for us. Consider Alice. Her days feel entirely overwhelming. Her mental space is occupied by replaying awkward conversations, dreading emails, and carrying the immense weight of everyday worldly pressures. When life gets this loud, the typical response is to try and escape. We seek out physical seclusion, scroll through distractions, or withdraw entirely, hoping that shutting out the external world will stop the anxiety. This structural model illustrates a core premise of the Pathwork teachings. The outside physical world is a direct, mirror reflection, projecting outward from our own internal psychological space. Realizing her external fixes aren't working, Alice decides to try a different approach. To change the chaotic reflection around her, she must navigate her own unmanifested inner space through a meditational practice known as focused emptiness. Attempting to resolve external conflicts without first addressing this internal void is an impossible task. It leaves us trapped in a loop, endlessly searching for false saviors to protect us from our own reality. When Alice closes her eyes and removes the external distractions, she hits stage 1. Instantly, the volume turns up. Her mind floods with a chaotic busyness that feels louder than her everyday life. This noise is intentional. The mind deliberately churns up mundane thoughts, old memories, and future worries as a defense mechanism. It creates static specifically to blot out the silence. The critical instruction for navigating this first stage is strict observation. Alice has to watch this mental traffic without judging herself for having noisy thoughts and without getting swept away by the stories they try to tell. This visual represents the transition into stage 2. As the mental static drains away, Alice hits what the guide calls the tunnel of uncertainty, leaving her alone in a state of absolute nothingness. Her immediate reaction is severe panic. The ego looks at this total lack of stimulation and interprets the emptiness as a direct threat to its own existence. To survive stage 2, Alice must endure this terrifying emptiness with zero expectations. She cannot demand instant peace, and she cannot demand sudden enlightenment. She simply has to wait in the dark. The sheer desperation our minds use to fill this silence reveals an uncomfortable truth. Our surface-level anxieties are actually a protective shield, engineered to keep us from confronting our deeper, truer reality. Because Alice holds her ground in that quiet, empty space, the stillness begins to shift. She enters stage 3, where the void starts to yield highly specific psychological insights. She discovers the true root of her worry. The chronic anxiety was a mask. Beneath it, she recognizes her lower self, a childish part of her personality that refuses to accept her own imperfections. Facing this flaw is not an act of self-condemnation. It is a moment of pure, objective truth. Seeing exactly how and why we hide from responsibility is a direct ray of divine guidance. By accepting this truth without trying to defend or justify her actions, Alice's mind finally relaxes. Stripped of its self-will, she enters stage 4, where an internal channel opens. This image illustrates the arrival of a higher self message. Out of the dark cavern of her mind, a crystal-clear communication affirms that she is allowed to make mistakes, and she possesses the strength to handle the consequences. True spiritual insight cannot be forced on demand by the ego. It surfaces naturally, but only after the defensive noise of the mind has been willingly surrendered. With continued practice, Alice reaches stage 5. This realization now saturates her entire being, evolving into a total spiritual and emotional experience. This shape illustrates a central paradox. The terrifying emptiness she initially encountered was an illusion. What appeared to be a hollow void unfolds to reveal an infinitely dense, rich inner universe. Accessing this fullness unlocks unmanifested capacities. Unseen strengths emerge alongside profound inner wisdom. This translates directly into everyday life as true autonomy. Alice now takes complete responsibility for her choices. She navigates reality as a free agent, dropping the need for magical intervention or perfect authority figures. The goal of focused emptiness is never to stay secluded in the void. The objective is to return to the outer physical world, finally equipped to handle undesirable experiences and mundane imperfections with total peace. Genuine autonomy and joy are not found by escaping our external conflicts. They are secured by having the courage to face what we spend our lives trying to avoid, the terrifying quiet inside our